It's just my take on the matter. LeBron James is the greatest stat stuffer in the history of the NBA. Lonzo Ball got the gift, but he doesn't have the glow. You heard it here first. Bill Belichick sabotaged the Super Bowl. Michael Jordan is the standard by which basketball excellence is measured. Period. That's just my take. What's yours?
Yo, what's going on? Welcome back to My Take, live sports rant with me, Michael John Pinnell. And as I mentioned in the title, we're talking about LeBron James can absolutely catch Michael Jordan. How? That's what we're going to talk about. I believe that LeBron James has a legitimate chance to catch the standard that is Michael Jordan and become the greatest player to ever play this game. LeBron James can absolutely do it. And let me tell you how he can do it. First and foremost, he got to beat the Indiana Pacers. Because as I said before, nothing he has done before or nothing he has done after will be more defining than what he does in this playoff series with the Pacers. So first and foremost, he has to beat the Pacers. But how can he catch Michael Jordan after being in the league 15 years? Is it possible to catch Michael Jordan? Is it possible to get better when you've been in the league 15 years already? Is that possible? Well, LeBron James has proven one thing, that it is possible. And one thing we know about great players is that no matter how long they've been in the league, unless they physically just can't do it anymore, you can get better. And LeBron James physically, although he may not be in his peak prime, he is still in great shape. He doesn't have any major injuries that he's dealing with. You remember Kobe Bryant in his 17th year, he blew out an axle, the Achilles injury. That was basically miles and miles of just miles that he had on his body from playing so many years from the time he was 18 coming into the league. And although he was only, I think, 34, 35 years old, just that amount of time playing just blow out an axle like a car. That Achilles was like an axle in a car. You just been driving and your car was good, but boom, that axle just went. So, but LeBron James hasn't had that. And I don't know anybody that's playing into their 22nd, 23rd, 24th year that's been, contributing to championship level teams. I know Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, I think he won a championship in his 19th season, but he wasn't the man on the Lakers when they won those final championships. It was Magic Johnson's team. It was James Worthy. So, but LeBron James, he has numbers. But what can he do to catch Michael Jordan? What does he have a legitimate opportunity to do in order to catch the GOAT Michael Jordan? Well, as we know, LeBron James has played 15 years, and for 15 years, pretty much people have gone, well, he's never had a Scottie Pippen. He's never had a Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Larry Bird had James Worthy. And Larry Bird had Michael Cooper and Magic Johnson had James Worthy, and Magic Johnson had Michael Cooper and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, and Larry Bird had Kevin McHale and Dennis Johnson and Robert Parrish, Isaiah Thomas. He had Joe Dumars. He had Dennis Rodman, and you just go on. Michael Jordan. He had Pippen. Kobe had Shaq. Kobe had Pau Gasol. And there's been these barrage of excuses that people have made for LeBron James. So, my thing is, how come? So, there's a point that I'm getting to. And I'm going to make this point because it has everything, so follow me for a second. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar had won one championship prior to Magic Johnson arriving on the scene. And yes, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar is probably the first, second, third greatest center. In many people's book, he is the greatest basketball player of all time. And you look at the numbers, look at the accomplishments, you look at the success. I won't argue that. Michael Jordan is my man. But I will not argue with anybody saying Kareem Abdul-Jabbar is the greatest basketball player to ever play the game. I'm not arguing that. But he had one chip, and I don't even know if they made the playoffs. The Lakers had made the playoffs. He didn't win any with the Lakers until Magic Johnson came, so let's understand that. He did not win any championships with the Lakers until Magic Johnson arrived. Let's understand that, okay? He won a championship with the Milwaukee Bucks with Oscar Robertson. Okay? So, that's one thing. The second thing is, people go James Worthy. Well, they drafted James Worthy, number one. Okay? Number two, they drafted James Worthy. The last time I checked, when you come into the league, there is no expectations on you being a great player. You are a rookie and you must earn your way. And so James Worthy had to earn his way, had to earn his respect. I remember Cedric Maxwell in the first playoff series James Worthy ever played in, owned James Worthy. And Cedric Maxwell said, he might be a great player today, but I had him eating out the palm of my hands in that playoff series. So James Worthy was not James Worthy when he came into the league. You got to develop your game. Even Magic Johnson. At one point, he struggled in the playoffs. Remember, he dribbled the ball out of the bounds, turned the ball over. They was calling him not Magic Johnson. They was calling him Tragic Johnson. So you struggled. So just saying he had great players to play with is not an excuse you can use, because you and have to develop yourself and you have to develop those guys. Magic Johnson did that. Larry Bird. Robert Parrish, Hall of Famer, didn't have any great success when he was in Golden State, remember. But he came over. Dennis Johnson didn't have any great, when I say success, I'm talking like winning championships and having long, deep playoff runs. They didn't have all of that until Larry Bird came. And so Kevin McHale was drafted by the Boston Celtics. They didn't assemble and go get Kevin McHale, which according to Charles Barkley, after Tim Duncan, Kevin McHale is the second greatest power forward he's ever played against. Now, he's great, but again, he was a rookie coming into the Boston Celtics. He didn't even start in his first year with the Boston Celtics. So don't tell me, oh, Magic played with this one and that one. You got Larry Bird played with McHale, he played with this one. You got to develop yourself, and you got to develop the guys around you. Joe Dumars, rookie with the Detroit Pistons. Okay? Dennis Rodman and those guys that they had, rookies. And Dennis Rodman was not like the most important factor to the Detroit Pistons winning championships with Isaiah Thomas. Scottie Pippen, Horace Grant, rookies. Okay? Oh, Michael didn't win anything until he got Scottie Pippen. He had to raise that boy up. You think Scottie would have been as great as he was and had the success he's had if he had not played with Michael Jordan? No, he wouldn't have. So we're going to stop doing that. But let's say we do give LeBron that excuse that he's never had a Scottie Pippen. He's never had a Kevin McHale. He's never had a Robert Parrish. He's never had a Joe Dumars to play with. He's never had, he's never had a James Worthy to play with. Well, here's where things can change. LeBron James, you've played with a lot of people. The one guy that you did have, that you could have developed and develop his mentality, you didn't really have to. He already had that mentality, and that was Kyrie Irving's. And that guy said, I don't want to play with you. But here's where things can change for LeBron James. And here's what LeBron James has an opportunity before him right now, where it all can change for him. Because he's never had that Scottie Pippen. He's never had that James Worthy. He's never had that Joe Dumars, that Kevin McHale. He's never had that. But the last time I checked, the Cleveland Cavaliers organization was holding tight to that Brooklyn pick that LeBron James wanted them so desperately to trade to get a Paul George, to get a Chris Paul, to get a this one, to get a that one. And the Cleveland Cavaliers said, no, we're not going to do that. We're going to hold on to this pick. Well, the Brooklyn Nets probably had the third, fourth worst record in the NBA. What does that mean? That means they're going to get a lot of ping pong balls, isn't it? Which means they're going to get a top 10 player. Period. Whether it be number 1 or number 10, they will get a top 10 player. The Brooklyn Nets, that is. And you know who pick that belong to? That belongs to the Cleveland Cavaliers. So what that means then is that the Cleveland Cavaliers will be picking a super talented basketball player within the first 10 picks, maybe even higher, maybe within the first 5 picks. That guy that they're bringing in will have the talent. The only thing that will matter is, can LeBron James develop not his talent, but that guy's mentality to become a great player? Can LeBron James develop his Scottie Pippen? Can LeBron James develop his Joe Dumars? Can LeBron James develop his James Worthy, his Kevin McHale? Will he be Larry Bird for that new pick? Will he be Magic Johnson for that pick? Will he be Michael Jordan for that pick? Victor Oladipo was not the same player last year, leaving Oklahoma City, watching Russell Westbrook changed his mentality. And look at the way Victor Oladipo was playing. Whose mentality has LeBron James changed throughout the course of his 15 years? I'll wait. He's never changed anyone's mentality. He makes people better by getting them open passes and getting them open shots, but he doesn't make them better in terms of their mindset, their mentality. To never lose, to become more than just talents, to become great players. That's going to be another mic take that I'm going to do. The NBA players today, many of them are not great players, they're just great talents, and I will explain the difference. But has he done that? Who has he done that for? Well, he never did so, because he left Cleveland, left what they had built over there, 66 wins, 62 wins, and went over to join 2 other established superstars in the league, in Chris Bosh and Dwayne Wade. He never had to develop their mentality. Wade was already a champion. And if Wade and Bosh just played together, they would have been super successful if it was just them two. But no one says no to playing with LeBron James if he wanted to come play with you. So I'm not necessarily mad at Wade and Bosh. I mean, it happened. It happened. But he didn't have to develop those guys' mentality. He didn't have to develop them. It turned out that we found out in that Dallas series that LeBron James was the one who needed his mentality developed. He was still not ready to be a champion. He still never became a champion. Because you can't stack your deck to do it. See, those teams that we talked about, those Chicago Bulls teams, those Laker teams with Shaq and Kobe, Magic, and these guys was drafted. They weren't assembling, Michael and Isaiah and Mikal, let's get together and just win all the chips. Not 5, 4, not 5, not 6, not 7, 9. They didn't do that. They worked hard. The Pistons had to overcome the Detroit Pistons. They had to overcome them. The Boston Celtics was not just, they weren't just giving it up to the Detroit Pistons. You're not just going to take this. You got to earn this for a couple years. We the top dogs in this East. You're going to earn it. And Isaiah didn't jump ship. He stayed home, got his guys together, added a piece of here to there, Mark Aguirre, and boom, we got over the hump. And then they got to the finals and got slapped by Magic Johnson. And had to come back the next year. And when they got to the top, they think you think they was ready to let Michael Jordan and the upstart Bulls just come over and just take away what they was building up all those years? Nah, man. Nah, you just ain't gonna get this, Mike. We gonna put you on the floor, the Jordan rules. Put him on the floor. You gonna earn this. Well, LeBron James never really took that route. And he never took anybody with him along that route because he never took that route to become that great of a player. Well, now he has an opportunity. Because I said, the Cleveland Cavaliers is picking in the top 10, probably top 5. And so the player that they pick will be a super talented player. The only question is, will LeBron James be able to develop his mentality? Now here's the drawback for LeBron. Dude, you are in your 15th year. You in your 15th year. You don't play 30 years in the NBA. You ain't got but so many peak prime years to go where you're a bus driver. Pretty soon you're going to be a passenger on some of these championship teams if you in fact win another championship. But I'll say this. I think LeBron James can compete at a high level from year 15 to year 17. Year 18, 19, no. He's gonna have to be a passenger of somebody's brother. An important passenger, but he's gonna have to be a passenger. So that means he has a window of opportunity. Year 16, 17, and maybe 18. If he can stay healthy, he has an opportunity to develop that young talent and win 2 championships. 2 championships. If he gets 2 championships, he has to stay in Cleveland. You can't go jump down there with Joel Embiid and Ben Simmons. You can't jump over there with Houston. You can't jump over there in LA. You have to stay in Cleveland and see this thing through with that top pick. If LeBron James does that, and he wins a championship or 2, I will say that LeBron James is the greatest basketball player to ever play. And that's my take. What's yours?